Howdy, y'all. My name is Tarj22, and today Is my sound muted? Yes, my sound is muted. Okay, good. So today, as you can tell by the name, story time down here, I'm going to be reading you guys two different stories. That is correct. Two different stories. I want you guys to comment in the chat here if you're watching this live. If you guys are watching this live, I want you to comment here in the chat telling me which story you would like me to read first. There's one called The Race. It's not anything with like racism or anything, it's just called The Race. And the second one is called Mrs. Thompson and Teddy. Comment in the comments saying which one you would like me to do first, and I will do that. Seems like I have a Skype notification. There we go. It doesn't seem that anyone would like to comment. My one viewer left. No. My one viewer. No, why? I'm gonna give it maybe one more minute to see if anybody is watching. Sorry if I don't talk here for just a quick sec, but I'm still gonna try my best. Still no one. Still gonna give it a minute here. Okay. One vid, two stories. Still no. I'm talking to a friend. He said that she. Sorry, I have more male friends than female friends. But she said, oh, okay, I think she's here. But as I said before, for you, person watching now, there are two different stories, one called The Race, one called Mrs. Thompson and Teddy, and I would like you to comment in the live chat which you would like me to read first. Oh, hello. Hi. Okay. So if she doesn't say which one she would like me to read, I will just randomly put my hand to the side and touch one. Okay, I will do the race one first. Yet again, not racism or anything. Okay. The Race. Now this first story isn't about anyone specifically or anything, just so everyone watching now or after knows. Okay, it's kind of a slam poetry type of thing as well. Whenever I start to hang my head in front of failure's face, my downward fall is broken by the memory of a race. A children's race, young boys, young men, how I remember well. Excitement, sure, but also fear. It wasn't hard to tell. They all lined up, so full of hope, each thought to win that race, or tie for first. If not for what I'm reading.
I'm gonna go in a couple minutes, and I need you to bring the dog in and feed him.
I'm doing a live stream, but okay.
Bring the dog in right away and feed him.
Sorry about that, guys. I don't even know where I was now. Okay, let me try and find it. Okay. They all lined up, so full of hope, each thought to win that race, or tie for first, if not that, at least take second place. Their parents watched from off the side, each cheering for their son, and each boy hoped to show his folks he would be the one. I'm gonna keep it on this. Okay. The whistle blew, and off they flew, like chariots of fire. To win, to be the hero, there was each boy's desire. One boy in particular, whose dad was in the crowd, was running in the lead and thought, my dad will be so proud. But as he sped down the field and crossed a shallow dip, thought he'd win, lost his step and slipped. Trying hard to catch himself, his arms flew everywhere, and amidst the laughter of the crowd, he fell flat on his face. And as he fell, his hope fell too. He couldn't win it now. Humiliated, he just wished to disappear somehow. But as he fell, his dad stood up and showed his anxious face, which to the boy clearly said, get up and win that race. He quickly rose, no damage done, behind a bit, that's all, and ran with all his mind and might to make up for his fall. So anxious to restore himself, to catch up and to win, his mind went faster than his legs. He slipped and fell again. He wished that he had quit before, with only one disgrace. I'm hopeless as a runner now. I shouldn't try to race. But though the laughing crowd he searched, and found his father's face, with a steady look that said again, get up and win that race. So he jumped up to try again, 10 yards behind the last. If I'm going to gain those yards, he thought, I've got to run real fast. Exceeding everything he had, he regained 8, then 10. But trying hard to catch the lead, he slipped and fell yet again. Defeat, he lay there silently, a tear dropped from his eye. There's no sense in running anymore. 3 strikes, I'm out. Why try? I've lost, so what's the use, he thought. I'll live with my disgrace. But then he thought about his dad, would he soon have to face. Get up and, oh, you haven't lost at all. For all you have to do is win. To win is rise each time you fall. Get up, that echo urged him on. Get up and take your place. And for failure here, get up and win that race. So up he rose, and to run once more, refusing to forfeit, and he resolved that win or lose, at least he wouldn't quit. So far behind the others now, the most he'd ever been. Still he gave it all he had, and ran like he could win. 3 times he'd fallen stumbling, 3 times he'd rose again, too far behind to hope to win. He still ran till the end. They cheered another boy who crossed the line, who won first place. Head held high, proud and happy, no falling, no disgrace. But when the fallen youngster crossed the line in last place, the crowd gave him a greater cheer. And even though he came in last, with his head bowed low unproud, you would have thought he'd won that race, to listen to the crowd. And to his dad he sadly said, I didn't do so well. To me you won, his father said. You rose each time you fell. And now when things seem dark and bleak and difficult to face, memory of that little boy helps me in my own race. For all of life is like that race, with ups and downs and all. And all you have to do to win is rise each time you fall. And when depression and despair shout loudly in your face, another voice within me says, get up and win that race. So that was the first of the two stories. Oh, that was my grandmother in the background, just for a random gamer Sarah to know. Oh, I don't even know how long I've been doing this. But okay. The next one is Mrs. Thompson and Teddy. You guys can kind of tell what it's about just by looking at this. So, if you... It is inspirational. It actually is quite inspirational. Okay, this next one is called Mrs. Thompson and Teddy, as I had just said before I went back. Okay, her name was Mrs. Thompson, and his was Teddy. As she stood in front of her 5th grade class on the very first day of school, she told the children a lie. Like most teachers, she looked at her students and said that she loved all of them the same. Impossible, because there in the front row, slumped in his seat, was a little boy named Teddy Stratford. Mrs. Thompson had watched Teddy the year before and noticed that he hadn't played well with the other children, that his clothes were messy, and that he constantly needed a bath. And Teddy could be really unpleasant. Mrs. Thompson... No, that was the same one. It had gotten to the point where Mrs. Thompson would actually take delight in marking his papers with a broad red pen, making bold X's and putting a big F at the top of his papers. At the school where Mrs. Thompson taught, she was required to review each child's past records, and she put Teddy's off until last. However, when she reviewed his file, she was in for a huge surprise. Teddy's 1st grade teacher wrote, "Teddy is a bright child with a ready laugh. He does his work neatly and has really good manners. He's a joy to be around." His 2nd grade teacher wrote, "Teddy is an excellent student, well liked by his classmates, but he's troubled because his mother has a terminal illness, and life at home must be a struggle." His 3rd grade teacher wrote, "His mother's death has been hard on him. He tried to do his best, but his father doesn't show much interest, and his home life will soon affect him if some steps aren't taken." Teddy's 4th grade teacher wrote, "Teddy is withdrawn and doesn't show much interest in school. He doesn't have many friends, and he sometimes sleeps in class." By now, Mrs. Thompson realized the problem, and she was ashamed of herself. She felt even worse. She brought her Christmas presents the following week, wrapped in beautiful ribbons and bright paper. His present was clumsily wrapped in a heavy brown paper sack that he had got from a grocery store. Mrs. Thompson took pain to open it in the middle of the other presents. Children started to laugh when she found a rhinestone bracelet with some of the stones missing, and a bottle that was a quarter full of perfume. But she stifled the children's laughter when she exclaimed how pretty the bracelet was, putting it on and dabbing some of the perfume on her wrist. Teddy Stratford stayed after school that day, just long enough to say, "Mrs. Thompson, today you smell just like my mom did." After the children left, she cried for at least an hour. On that day, she quit teaching reading, writing, and arithmetic. Instead, she began to teach children. Mrs. Thompson paid Teddy. As she worked with him, his mind seemed to come alive. The more she encouraged him, the faster he responded. By the end of the year, Teddy had become one of the smartest children in the class, and despite her lie that she would have loved all the children the same, Teddy became one of her teacher's pets, quote unquote. A year later, she found a note under her door from Teddy, telling her that she was still the best teacher he had in his entire life. 6 years went by before she got another letter from Teddy. He then wrote that he had finished high school in 3rd in his class, and she was still the best teacher he had ever had in his entire life. 4 years went by before she got another letter, saying had been tough at times. He'd stayed in school had stuck with it and would soon graduate from college with the highest of honors. And he assured Mrs. Thompson that she was still the best and favorite teacher he had ever had. Then 4 more years passed, and yet another letter came. This time, he explained that after he got his bachelor's degree, he decided to go a little further. This letter explained that she was still the best and favorite teacher he had ever had. But now, his name was a little bit longer. The letter was signed Stronford, M.D. The story doesn't end there, you see. There was yet another letter that spring. Teddy said he'd met a girl and he was going to be married. He explained that his father had died a couple years ago, and he was wondering if Mrs. Thompson might agree to sit in the place at the wedding that usually is reserved for the mother of the groom. Of course, Mrs. Thompson did. And guess what? She wore that bracelet, the one with the several rhinestones missing, and she made sure she was wearing the perfume that Teddy remembered his mother wearing on their last Christmas together. They hugged each other, and Dr. Strandford whispered to Mrs. Thompson's ear, "Thank you, Miss Thompson, for believing in me. Thank you so much for making me feel important and showing me that I can make a difference." Mrs. Thompson, with tears in her eyes, whispered back. She said, "Teddy, you have it all wrong. You were the one who taught me, and that I could make a difference. I don't know how to teach until I met you. I didn't know how to teach until I met you. Warm someone's heart today. Pass this along. Remember that wherever you go and whatever you do, you will have the opportunity to touch and or change a person's outlook on life." That was the second story. Done. Yet another somewhat kind of, yes, entire inspirational story, if that made sense, the words I just said. Hope you guys enjoyed that. If you did, I can't see my mouse. There it is. If you guys did, slap this like button. And if you haven't subscribed to me, if you haven't already, subscribe. And click the bell notification icon to get notified of whenever I upload a video. Because I will be doing live streams more often now. Pretty much every time I make a video, I'm going to be doing a live stream. But once in a while, I will be using my video camera to record a video. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed. And if you did, slap the like button, like I said, and subscribe if you haven't already. Share this video with your friends, family, cousins, neighbors, uncles, that one weird guy that sits in his car across from your elementary school all day long and waits for kids to leave. Really, really creepy guy. Share it with Robin Williams if you ever meet him. I know he's dead, but still, rest in peace, my friend. But yeah, and as to answer Random Gamer Sarah's question, did you write these? No, I did not. I found them online. I found them really inspirational, and I decided to share them with all of you. But thank you guys so much for watching, and as always, you guys know the outro. I will see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye. Bye. Bye-bye.